Young Master Jew had a quarrel with his beloved. In a fit of pique, he plucked a pear blossom and placed it in a teacup. He said that whoever had a pear blossom in their teacup today would become his wife. I lowered my head and looked at that faint touch of white in the teacup. Without hesitation, I hid the petal in my mouth. The whole hall fell silent. Young Master Jew, however, fixed his gaze on me. "Miss Shen, why not tell us, what does pear blossom taste like?" 01. I only then realized a sliver of white at the corner of my lips had been seen by him with that petal in my mouth. I gave him a faint smile. I lightly pressed my lips together and chewed the petal to pieces before swallowing it. "It's just a tea leaf, slightly bitter." No one gave flowers. Everyone looked at each other in confusion. I avoided Ju Jinyu's gaze and looked toward the pear tree at the door. Just like in my previous life, steeped in the cool moonlight. How is that possible? I placed it myself. Then, let's try again, someone suggested. This time, the teacup was pushed in front of me once more. I didn't touch that cup of tea again. "Sorry, I'm feeling unwell. I'll head back first. You ladies enjoy yourselves." As I stood up, I happened to bump into the maid behind me carrying tea. The tea splashed all over the floor. White pear blossoms reflected on the tea-colored floor. "No way, how does this count?" "Of course it counts as mine. This was tea meant for me, and she just happened to knock it over." Miss Zhao picked up that petal of pear blossom and held it up. Everyone looked at young Master Jew in confusion, but young Master Jew smiled at me. "This pear blossom has a connection with Miss Shen. It should be considered Miss Shen's. In my past life, he smiled at me like this too. I thought this was a match made in heaven for me. It wasn't until later that I found out the woman he truly loves is getting married. He was just marrying someone out of spite. Marrying anyone is fine for a moment." Everyone looked at me with envy. Young Master Jew is the living bodhisattva of Bianjing. At 5 years old, he could identify 100 herbs and recognize 100 poisons. At 7 years old, he could diagnose illness by pulse without the slightest error. The number of common folk he has treated is countless. Yet someone like this happens to have a gentle disposition. He was born with a face as delicate as white jade. Her smile is as refreshing as a spring breeze. Miss Shen is truly blessed. Everyone burst into laughter together. Only Miss Zhao looked at me with loathing. "No, this tea belongs to Miss Zhao, and the pear blossoms in this tea belong to Miss Zhao as well. The Shen family is a small, humble household. We wouldn't dare to overreach." Young Master Jew still wanted to say something, but I had already turned and walked away quickly. 02. In my previous life, after I drank that pear blossom, I married Ju Jinyu as I wished. On our wedding night, I sat on the edge of the bed, uneasy, worried about when I should change into those split-open pants. The moment I thought about Ju Jinyu lifting the bridal veil in a bit, and looking at me with that kind of gaze, my heart started to flutter like a startled fawn. Only, it wasn't until the red candles burned out, Ju Jinyu still didn't come. When the nurse came to collect the wedding veil was as white as snow. I burst into tears in a panic, not knowing what to do. Young Master Jew didn't come back. I heard he went south. My mother-in-law scowled and cursed me as a jinx, saying I couldn't even keep a man. The maids laughed at me from the corner. I wrung my handkerchief and stood beneath the pear tree, quietly wiping my tears. I had no idea what I'd done wrong until that winter he came back. He entered my room. I sat at the head of the bed, nervously clenching my fingers, not knowing what to do. He sighed and gently took my hand. "Xiao, are you? I'm sorry. These past 6 months have been hard on you. I won't leave again. From now on, we'll live our life well." My heart suddenly warmed, and I believed him. At night, he wrapped his arms around me. His warm breath burned against my ear. "Shuru, let's have a child." "Ha!" I flushed instantly and didn't dare look at him. "No, what's wrong? Don't you like me?" Then, that open crotch pants were taken away, Nanny said. He stared at my blushing face and laughed for a good while. Since then, he's been busy at the shop during the day. At night, he always comes back and gently folds me into his arms. The pear tree at the door has bloomed again. I sat with him under that tree, grinding medicinal herbs and studying prescriptions. He started imitating the people outside, now and then bringing me little gifts, oddly shaped pottery bowls, colorful clay figurines, pretty little jade trinkets. I arranged those things on the windowsill. Sometimes when he's not around, I play with those things and think of him. life suddenly became cheerful. He also gave me many white dresses. At night, if he had been drinking, he would lift me onto the table beneath the pear tree, asking for it over and over. He said I look good in white. He said pear blossoms and I are a perfect match. I thought he loved me to death, but he didn't know all he loved was the scent of the one in his heart. This pear tree was planted by his beloved with their own hands. 03 Until that early summer an epidemic broke out in a town to the south. He looked flustered and left in a hurry. Everyone said that young Master Jew had the heart of a healer. I respected him all the more because of this, but I had no idea that the woman he loved lived in that town. Shortly after he left, I was diagnosed as pregnant. My mother-in-law was overjoyed. Stop making things hard for me. My heart rejoiced. I went to his study, wanting to write a letter to tell him, but I accidentally knocked a box off the shelf. Countless letters spilled out. I carefully picked them up, only to find that each one was addressed to his beloved Liu Yunsu. He liked the faint scent of pear blossoms on his cousin. He liked his cousin wearing a white dress. I finally understood everything. I lay ill on the couch for a long time. My mother-in-law was terrified and wrote to urge him to come back, but he only sent a prescription in reply. When I was 6 months pregnant, the physician who came to take my pulse said I was carrying twins. My mother-in-law was delighted and wrote again, urging Ju Jinyu to hurry back. I heard the epidemic in the south had been lifted, but Ju Jinyu still hadn't returned. I heard his older female cousin first became pregnant, then caught an epidemic disease. Thanks to Ju Jinyu's efforts, both mother and child are safe. Epidemics are hard to cure. Protect the mother and protect the child. It was clearly impossible, but Ju Jinyu did it. The whole city is praising Ju Jinyu's virtue and medical skill now. My cousin's health is unstable after childbirth. Ju Jinyu was uneasy and kept watch day after day. I held my belly and leaned against the door, gazing at the pear tree in front that only blossomed but never bore fruit. Ju Jinyu wrote countless letters to Liu Yunshu, but never dared to send them. I also wrote countless letters to Ju Jinyu. He didn't reply to a single letter. As the due date approached, the midwives grew increasingly anxious. The baby was in a breech position, and it was twins. Even the techniques for correcting the fetal position weren't a sure bet, and Ju Jinyu is an expert in this field. Only he can do it. The mother-in-law sent someone to urge again. Ju Jinyu still hasn't come back. A few days before I was due, he finally wrote back. He said cousin had recovered well, and the baby had put on quite a bit of weight. He seemed almost indecently happy. He alone failed to mention the child in my belly, and after reading that letter, I'd been in pain for days and nights, unable to give birth no matter what. I gazed at the moon-white pear tree outside the window. The tip of my nose was filled with the metallic stench of blood saturating the room. I thought of that hint of white in the tea that year and Ju Jinyu's fake smile at last. All the remaining strength was spent. 04 When I opened my eyes again, I had actually gone back to the year I was 17 at that banquet under the night. The moonlight felt cold. The girl followed cautiously behind me. Miss, I clearly saw pear blossoms in your teacup today. Shut up, don't bring it up again. Miss, you don't like pear blossoms. A deep, resonant voice sounded behind me. I jumped in fright. The maid quickly stepped in front of me only to see a man wearing a silver mask. His voice was very hoarse, with a few strands of white at his temples. There were some blades of grass clinging to him, making him look quite disheveled. I don't like it, I answered bluntly. I hate pear blossoms. I turned to leave, but he blocked my way again. What does that young lady like? Would you tell me? The girl saw this and stopped him again. Impudent. What a shameless scoundrel. Only then did the man realize his discourtesy, and he quickly backed away. Several steps. Apologies. I admire Miss Shin and was discourteous in the moment. He clasped his hands and bent at the waist, looking exceedingly humble. I took the maid by the hand and hurried away. The next day the courtyard was filled with a rich floral fragrance. Mother called to me through the window, "Are you time to get up?" I'm too lazy to get up. In my past life, I was too busy loving Ju Jinyu. After marrying over, I had to follow that pile of rotten rules in his family every day. Even while pregnant, I still had to say good morning. Not getting up, I rolled over. Young Master Ju has come to propose. I jolted upright. I quickly tidied myself up, separated by a beaded curtain. I saw his tall, slender figure bathed in the warm sunlight. He was carefully examining my family's small courtyard. The courtyard was filled to the brim with bright red betrothal gifts board. I counted them, they were exactly the same as in my previous life in terms of decorum, impeccable for a modest family. Like mine, this is quite a step up. Miss Shen, do you also have times when you can't get out of bed, every single day? I answered softly. Wasn't that bowl of tea Miss Zhao's yesterday? Did the young master make a mistake? The first petal of pear blossom was eaten by the young lady. The second was when the young lady smashed the teacup. Anyway, Miss Shen has to take responsibility. He turned around to look at me. I was lazily leaning against the doorframe. Does Miss Shen like yellow garments? I folded my arms and nodded, following Zhu Jinyu's gaze. I just realized the courtyard is not only piled with betrothal gifts, but also filled with flowers, azaleas, begonias, hydrangeas. Mother, where did these come from? Wasn't it you who had them delivered? A man wearing a mask came early this morning and spent several hours moving them in, very carefully, afraid of waking you. Young Master Zhu looked over at me. Miss Shen, do you like this many? I walked into the courtyard in frustration and pointed at the pear blossom tree in the corner. Yes, I like everything except pear blossoms. The next day, that pear blossom tree vanished for no reason. Father stood beside the stump, utterly baffled. It was obvious this wasn't something someone like young Master Zhu could have done. I suddenly remembered that bedraggled uncle from yesterday. Whatever, as long as it's not Zhu Jinyu, that's fine. The young Master Zhu was rejected from a marriage. This news quickly spread through Bianjing. Master Zhu is the director of the Imperial Medical Institute, a full fourth-rank official. The young master's marriage proposal got rejected just like that, and it was turned down by a small peddler who sells ragged clothes. I couldn't be bothered to respond when I had nothing to do. I threw out all the white garments in the wardrobe. Only, ever since that day, the courtyard has never been without fresh flowers every day. Before I wake up, they've already been replaced with new ones. Besides that, I always somehow spot strange things in front of my house, oddly shaped clay bowls, colorful clay figurines, and pretty little jade trinkets, just like in my previous life. Those strange things Zhu Jinyu gave me, I was so scared that I hurriedly threw them all away. Impossible. Is it Zhu Jinyu, the one who married me and lived with me? That Zhu Jinyu, he came back 05. I quickly dismissed the idea. Maybe it was just a coincidence. I told the servants that anything delivered by strangers should be thrown away. Young Master Zhu hasn't come again since that day. I heard something strange happened at the Zhu household. All the pear trees in the courtyard are in full bloom. Overnight, everything withered and died. I glanced at the pear tree in my courtyard that had been chopped down. I grew even more puzzled. Business at father's shop was bad when I had nothing to do. I would go over and lend a hand. One day, I came back from the shop a bit late. Passing by an alley, there were the occasional barks of dogs. Xiao Dao said she was scared, so I told her to go back to the shop and fetch a brighter lamp. I pulled my cloak tighter and lowered the hood. I had barely taken a few steps when a few street thugs suddenly jumped out ahead in the moonlight. Their chests were slightly exposed, covered in pus-filled blisters. They reeked of a foul stench. Is this the one young Master Zhu has his eye on? The employer said whoever takes turns sleeping with her gets rewarded. I slowly stepped back a few paces, quietly feeling for a stick behind me. Xiao Dao, someone, help! I could see a few people getting closer and closer. The stench almost wrapped around me. I strained my voice and shouted a few more times. Just as I was panicking, a figure suddenly darted out of the alley and blocked my way. It was that person from that day. He was wearing a silver mask and holding a knife. Run! His deep voice rang out. I ran all the way home in one breath, shaking. I leaned against the door and panted heavily until Xiao Dao came back from outside. I asked her anxiously, "Did you see anyone fighting in the alley?" Xiao Dao shook her head. "But there's blood on the road." I swallowed hard. My mind raced through memories of my past life. I had been trapped in the Zhu family's back courtyard until I died. I really can't imagine who would want to harm me like this. After living a second life until the sky began to lighten, the window stirred slightly, and a cool breeze flowed in. I snapped my eyes open and grabbed the stick beside me. Who? Shiru. It's me. It was still the person wearing the silver mask. one arm streaming with blood. Who are you, really? The evening breeze is slightly chilly. He takes off the mask, tears glisten in his eyes. A chill seizes my heart. He spoke. He is Ju Jinyu in his 40s. His skin is rough and dark. A long, thick scar runs horizontally across his face. He has none of young Master Ju's fair, delicate complexion. He knelt at my door, saying I'm sorry over and over. Shuru, it's my fault for coming back late back then. When I walked in, I happened to see the servants carrying you out. There was fresh blood all along the way. I lifted the quilt, and your hand was already stiff. You were clutching a little shoe worn by a baby and refused to let go. She's my older cousin. He hid every letter from home, and also the letters you sent me. He bowed his head hard several times toward me. I'm sorry. For these past 20 years, I've been repenting every single day. I came here just to say, I'm sorry. I slumped into the chair, staring at the man who now looked a bit old, pointing to the door with trembling fingers. Get out, 06. He left. The next day I heard that 2 thugs in the alley had died. I never knew when Ju Jinyu got so good at fighting. Maybe he was afraid I'd be angry, so he didn't show up again, but the things still arrived at my door: jewelry, jade, fabrics, anything available in the city. He seemed to want to send me one of each, but I had the servants throw the things away. The neighbors next door picked up a bargain and still chirped on and on, saying that I must be improper when I'm out, that I seduced some random man. As for the young master of the Ju family, I heard that his older female cousin actually turned down a marriage proposal for him. Now they're deeply in love. It seems that in this lifetime they can be together. I can't help but applaud for them. I discussed with my father and asked him to hire a guard who can fight. Father agreed. The next day, I helped father deliver a few sample garments to save time. I took the floating wooden bridge over the river. As I walked to the center of the river, I unexpectedly ran into Miss Zhao, the one who snatched the pear blossom at that evening banquet. She wore a look of resentment. I wanted to pass, but she refused to let me. I knew she bore a grudge against me. The Zhao family's master is the county magistrate, and the Ju family is a good match for them in status that day. If I hadn't knocked over her teacup, perhaps she really would have had the chance to go to the Ju family and experience the life I once lived. Miss Zhao, I have something to attend to today. Would you please make way? Absolutely not. She folded her arms and looked over, a touch of pride in her eyes. That day, I broke Miss Zhao's teacup. I apologize again. I remained courteous. She stood there with her arms crossed. The Shun family's daughter really is so petty. There's not a shred of sincerity in that apology. What do you want? Kneel, knock your head. She pointed at the ground, not letting me. Is that it? She still held her head high, seeing how arrogant she was. I couldn't help guessing, was the scoundrel that night arranged by her. I yanked her arm hard, wanted to ask her to make way. Unexpectedly, she lost her balance and fell into the water. Little Dao was terrified. I looked back and actually saw young Master Ju and his older female cousin. Young Master Ju's cousin, Liu Yunshu, was strikingly beautiful. She wore a moon-white dress. Her brows were slightly furrowed as she held Ju Jinyu by the arm. Miss Shun has always been delicate and weak. How has she become so ruthless now? I am ruthless, indeed. Unlike Dr. Ju with his benevolent heart, I certainly won't stand by and do nothing. Ju Jinyu glanced at me and, sure enough, rolled up his sleeves and took off his outer robe after he had jumped down. Quite some time passed. I just figured it out. What a loser, he can't swim. Liu Yunshu was clearly anxious. What do we do? Ju Jinyu is still down there. I pondered, if this young Master Ju dies, will the older Ju Jinyu vanish as well? Then I could have some peace and quiet. I turned around and left. Liu Yunshu was already crying like pear blossoms in the rain and went to call for help. Someone, help! The young lady of the Shun family has killed someone. It was Shana Yu who pushed someone into the water. 07. I sighed inwardly. If Miss Zhao dies today, this debt will be laid at my door. If young Master Ju dies, that will be blamed on me too. I set down the sample garment and with a bang plunged into the water. By the time I hauled out the 2 deadweights, I'd nearly run out of breath myself. Only then did it occur to me that I ought to toughen up my body too. I remembered how young Master Ju and Liu Yunshu ruined me so badly in my past life. I didn't hesitate to strip Miss Zhao's coat and throw it into the water. Then I stripped young Master Ju's and put it on Miss Zhao after I finished all that. I first gave Miss Zhao mouth-to-mouth, then I gave young Master Zhu mouth-to-mouth. When the two of them finally came to, Liu Yunshu at last arrived with reinforcements. What's with their clothes? Anyone who sees that will get the wrong idea. I couldn't be bothered to respond. I straightened my clothes by myself. After young Master Zhu woke up, he kept looking at me. Miss Shen looks delicate, yet she can swim, quite a surprise. I didn't say anything. Nor did I look at him. I turned and pulled Xiao Dao along to continue delivering the goods. The next day, the news had spread far and wide. The young master of the Zhu family and Miss Zhao fell into the water at the same time. When the two woke up, their clothes were disheveled. This was no small matter. The Zhu family had no choice but to discuss the marriage with the Zhao family. There was also Liu Yunshu caught in the middle, who was supposed to marry the young master of the Zhu family. The Zhu family was somewhat in a dilemma. Some even said that I took the opportunity on the bridge to force a kiss on the Zhu family's young master and the Zhao family's young lady. Taking advantage of someone in their hour of need, wants to marry into wealth. I'm speechless. Because of that fall into the water, I caught a chill. Feverish all day long. Father got some medicine, but my cough got even worse at night. I just couldn't sleep. The window rattled, and a dark figure slipped in again. It was none other than the 40-year-old Zhu Jinyu. He felt my forehead and took my pulse. Finally, he pulled out a few long needles and inserted them into my head. Soon, the headache faded. He prepared another bowl of medicine. After I drank it, he just stood by the bedside looking at me. Shiru, you saved 2 people today. I really don't want to save him. I never knew you had such ability. I never knew you were such a beast in human guise. All around was quiet, and he spoke no more. I waved my hand. If you don't leave now, I'll call someone. He had no choice but to leave with reddened eyes. The next morning at dawn, young Master Zhu actually came too. He brought a whole box of medicine. After looking over the prescription on my desk, he was stunned for a long time. In Bianjing, I'm the only one who would prescribe medicine like this. Where did you get this prescription? I turned my head to look at him. Young master, let's go. Luckily another doctor came by yesterday. Hearing me say that, he lowered his head in shame. Yesterday. My cousin said she felt flustered. Miss Zhao also caught a chill, so I couldn't get away. He, Xiao Dao, see the guest out. I rubbed my brow. I really can't figure out how, in my previous life, I could have been infatuated with something like this. He refuses to leave. The servants at home don't dare to drive him away. I want to get out of bed and drive him off with a stick, but I just don't have any strength. He also stuck a needle into my head. His gaze flicked to the design drafts on my desk. Miss Shen, you can do this. I still ignored him in my previous life, because I was infatuated with Zhu Jinyu. The manuscript I made for father has all the clothes in pure white. Now that I look at it, it seems like mourning attire in this life. Setting Zhu Jinyu aside, I seem to be able to draw even better. Miss Shen, strangely enough, I dreamed of you last night. What? I dreamed that we were living together. He put down the manuscript and looked at me again. In the dream, you were wearing white, heavily pregnant, standing in the courtyard and repeatedly glancing toward the door. There, waiting for me. I don't know what's wrong with me either. I even dreamed of us together under the pear blossoms. When I woke up, I felt an emptiness in my heart, so I hurried to see you. Thinking of that past, I start to tremble all over. Someone, see the guest out. That night, as spring rain pattered softly, I closed the window and lay on the couch, coughing gently outside the window. The older figure stood there all night. He spoke. Liu Yunshu also came back through time in my previous life. Not long after I left, her husband committed embezzlement. His family property was confiscated. Life didn't go well this time. She's dead set on marrying young Master Zhu right now. I'm a real eyesore to her. Xiao are you? Liu Yunshu is ruthless and cruel. Those 2 thugs from that night were sent by her. 08. The rainwater was icy. It wasn't until Shanayu finally stopped coughing that she fell asleep. Zhu Jinyu was soaked to the skin, yet he still stood by the window saying he was sorry. He thought of how it had been the same kind of weather 20 years ago. On his way home, he thought that his lovely wife would come out to greet him with joy. Unexpectedly, when he reached the courtyard, He saw Shana Yu being carried on a stretcher. Blood was rinsed off the rack and onto the floor, staining the pear blossoms a flush of red. Her belly was high and swollen, her whole body had already stiffened. He panicked for a moment and desperately tried to save Shana Yu, but Shana Yu had no breath left at all. He felt her belly and adjusted the fetus's position, which wasn't difficult for him. It was just that no one in Bianjing could do it like he could. The servants said Shana Yu had been in labor for a full 3 days. She gave it everything she had, and at most, only 1 foot came out. Now those blood-tinged eyes couldn't be closed no matter how they wiped them. Zhu Jinyu held Shana Yu and cried for an entire day. He saved so many people, but he didn't save his own wife and child. The old madam of the Shen family said she could hear wails from Shana Yu's courtyard at night. They invited a daoist to paste talismans and use ritual implements to suppress Shana Yu's grave. Zhu Jinyu refused. He thought, if there really are ghosts, then let Shana Yu come back to find him. But he waited at Shana Yu's grave for nearly half a year. Shana Yu was truly dead. There is no such thing as a soul in those bleak, desolate days. Only then did he realize how much he missed Shana Yu. He had wronged Shana Yu. Every time I think of it, my heart feels like it's being torn apart. He repeatedly stroked those little toys on Shana Yu's windowsill, each one polished to a shine. When Liu Yunshu's husband's family fell into decline, she came to find him. He merely, lost and broken, pushed her away. Do you not love me anymore? Liu Yunshu clenched her fists, digging into her palm as she asked. Not anymore. Zhu Jinyu knew he would never be able to forgive himself later. He joined the army not for defending the nation, he simply believed in witchcraft. Somewhere in a foreign land, there are people who can bend time and space. He searched for more than 20 years, weathered countless hardships beyond the frontier, surviving by a hair's breadth time and again. I just wanted to come back to see Shana Yu, but my cousin caught sight of the magic and followed me back. After what happened in that alley, Zhu Jinyu went to find Liu Yunshu. He pressed a knife to Liu Yunshu's neck. Liu Yunshu was truly scared. I'm going to marry young Master Zhu. The one you want is Shana Yu. We'll mind our own business. I won't touch her again. Liu Yunshu only wants young Master Zhu. As for the more than 40-year-old Zhu Jinyu in front of her, she understands very well that after Shana Yu's death, guilt left his heart filled only with Shana Yu. She fears that one day young Master Zhu will also remember those things. Zhu Jinyu tightened his grip on the knife, but Liu Yunshu started to cry. Brother Jinyu, I haven't done anything wrong in this lifetime, have I? Zhu Jinyu froze for a moment. There was a noise outside the door. The guards had already entered. Zhu Jinyu had to leave quickly. 09 I had been ill for many days. Shutting the door and seeing no visitors, word outside has it that the Zhu family, the Li family, and the Liu family are making an ever bigger scene, all just to fight over who, in the end, will marry in. As the rightful first wife, the young master of the Zhu family simply said he won't marry any of them. He actually came to my house again. I'm not yet recovered. I was sitting in the courtyard, staring blankly at various sketch drafts. Shana Yu, I've thought it through. That day, you saved me, and we already had skin-to-skin contact. You ought to marry me. Phut, I almost choked on my tea. How is this any different from a scam? I saved a person, not some scoundrel. Can I? He suddenly started stammering again. I don't want to marry someone else. I don't know what's wrong with me. Lately I can still dream of you, and whenever I think of you, I feel inexplicably sad. I will treat you well. Are you willing? I shook my head. Why, am I not good enough? I nodded. Give up on this. Young Master Zhu, I, Shana Yu, would rather die than marry you. After hearing what I said, he was a bit incredulous. In Bianjing City, news of my refusal to marry started spreading again. Young Master Zhu even ran away from home. He hasn't returned for many days. The Zhu family was frantic, sending people everywhere to search. Now that's a surprise. He's even giving up the cousin he loves to the bone. And father said happily that, for my safety, he signed a death guard to me, swearing to protect me with his life. These days, where would a family like ours find a death sworn? Until I saw that silver mask, I felt a bit wronged. I rolled a small one. Another old one has come again. So annoying. When my cough flares up, the days feel a bit long. I've been cooped up at home for nearly half a month. New clothing designs sketched by hand every day. Zhu Jinyu stands by the window every day, holding his sword and watching. He said my health isn't great and I need to move around more. What he said made sense, so I occasionally take a little stick and practice a few moves in the courtyard. But he just laughed. He said he'd spent over 20 years on the border and had some skills that could help me. I didn't use what he taught me. Besides that, he imitated xiaodao and brewed tea for me, steamed some food for me like that. So cautious and careful. Even my father sighed in secret that the servant we hired this time is truly excellent. It's just that the things he makes, I've never taken a single bite. He occasionally mentions Liu Yunshu. He tells me not to worry. Shiru, in our past life, I wronged you. In this life, no one can hurt you. I didn't reply to him. 3 days later, at the Bianjing Chamber of Commerce tender in the past, father said that a daughter should marry into a good family. I can't do something so public. This time I didn't listen to him. I secretly took my sketches with me. Just as I thought, the room full of men looked me over curiously. Whose daughter is this? How can a little girl come to a place like this? Where are her family? Is this from the Shun family, the one who jumped in to save someone, got her clothes soaked, and still ran around everywhere? Ha ha, such a small matter. And you already knew. What's wrong with being a young lady? From behind the beaded curtain, a woman's voice came. Everyone fell silent. It's the Qin family, the daughter of the president of the Bianjing City Chamber of Commerce. I'm a woman too. Who says women can't do it? She wore a dark red outfit. I heard she trained in martial arts since childhood, and she's more than a head taller than me. Though a woman, she keeps the household affairs in perfect order. Clutching the manuscript, I was momentarily taken aback. She walked over, took the sketches from my arms, and looked at me again. 3 sketches, all with bright colors, perfect for spring scenes. My father said this time it's to make clothes for people in the palace. Wouldn't a young lady better understand a woman's thoughts? Getting her praise, I suddenly brightened up. When I turned around again, I saw yet another identical face, just a young master. It was precisely the young master of the Qin family. I heard the two of them are fraternal twins. He stared at me, the corners of his mouth lifting. After so many years, the guild finally has a girl. Now that's interesting. I heard that not long ago you kissed a man and a woman in a row. Truly curious. I tugged at the corner of my mouth in embarrassment. After all, he was staring at me from way too close. This pale yellow dress really makes your face look even more radiant. Miss, how about we be friends? Chinyu, mind your manners. It was the elder sister. She yanked her younger brother back. Everyone. There are too many merchants. Please present your drafts one by one, and the guild members will make the decision. With the support of the two of you, I'm finally no longer being ostracized. I even had the good fortune to admire other people's manuscripts. Thanks to the arrangements made by the Qin siblings, I unexpectedly received guidance from the gentleman of the guild. When it was time to leave, it was already dusk. Zhu Jinyu stood at the doorway holding a sword, waiting. How is it? Not bad. Seeing me happy, he grew a bit curious again. Did Miss Shen's manuscript get selected? I shook my head. There are too many talented people. I probably can't. He seemed somewhat puzzled. Since you can't, why are you happy? Someone is willing to seriously read my manuscript. That makes me happy. I walked ahead, excited, bouncing with every step. He seemed to be seeing this side of me for the first time. For a moment, he froze in place. Why aren't you coming? I looked back at him. These past few days, I had a good attitude toward him for the first time. Did you know, a lot of people said today that the sketches I drew aren't ugly. Once we make a sample, maybe we can help father earn some more money. Hey, I walked closer to look at him, but I saw his eyes were already brimming with tears. What's wrong? The man in his 40s hastily wiped his eyes. Nothing, as long as you're happy. 10. I tried on every piece of clothing in my father's ready-to-wear shop. I had no one to order around, so I had to get Zhu Jinyu to help with dyeing and altering the styles. Business truly started to pick up. As for the bidding matter, I didn't win, but unexpectedly, I grew increasingly close with the Qin siblings. They say many schools have sprung up in the south, some specialize in fashion design. There are also ones that teach business, painting, and reading. They teach everything. I'm very interested, but I heard they don't accept women there. I lost heart at once. Sister Qin said she wants to go too, and that we could both disguise ourselves as men when the time comes. How could that be? Qin Yu disagreed. The whole courtyard is full of men. If the two of you dress as men, You'll be easily found out. How about I go in to learn, and then teach Miss Xiao you afterward? Sister Qin swung a punch. Shuru, don't listen to him. He only knows business. He can't do any of this. If you're afraid, I'll go in and learn it, then come back and teach you. We'll talk later, there's so much to do. At home, Zhu Jinyu kept following me while we were chatting and laughing. He just stood behind us like that, brim of his hat tipped down. Who knows what he was thinking after that day. Zhu Jinyu suddenly had other matters to attend to from time to time. He had to go out. I don't know what he's busy with, either. The young lady of the Zhao family and Liu Yunshu's household kick up a fuss every few days. The old madam of the Zhu family is helpless, so she simply decided that the two of them would be taken as equal wives. Well, this is just great. Young Master Zhu hasn't come back yet. The two madams have already started fighting to the bitter end in the fall. Zhu Jinyu said he had things to take care of and left for good, but he did bring back young Master Zhu as before. Young Master Zhu spent every day buried in the pharmacy, treating patients. He no longer mentioned marriage in this way. Both the Liu family of Yunshu and the Zhao family's young lady grew anxious again. The old madam pressed them daily and set a date on this day, the winter solstice. I received a letter from Zhu Jinyu in the courtyard. I can no longer remember how many there have been. Basically one a day. Those letters, I threw them all under the bed without reading a single one. The first snow had just arrived early on. The streets were draped in red cloth. The Zhao family and the Liu family were competing as if their lives depended on it, to see who could offer the richer betrothal gifts. Everyone was peering at the doorway today. No one knows which relative young Master Zhu will greet first. My father's other shop also just opened today. I was busy with the new furs in the back courtyard. In the blink of an eye, a blow landed square on my head. I was abducted. When I came to again, I found myself dressed entirely in red, sitting upright at the head of the bed. I was a little flustered. I pulled off the red bridal veil above my head, only to see a pristine wedding kerchief laid out on the bed. Under the wedding kerchief was that pair of open-crotch pants. With a creak, the door opened. Young Master Zhu walked in dressed all in red. Xiao, are you? Today I'm marrying you again. I swear, in this life, I'll stay by your side and never leave you. All right. His gaze burned, and he raised his hand to gently graze my cheek. I shuddered all over and jerked away. Young Master Zhu, are you crazy? I am crazy. He grabbed my wrist and forced me into his arms. Shuru, it's been half a year. I dream of you every single night. I dreamt that the days we were together were truly happy. That was our real past, wasn't it? I also dreamed that you were lying there covered in blood. Every time I think of it, I can't sleep at night. The man who looked exactly like me told me that he was me. He said he was the one who killed you. Is that also the future me? Shuru, if that's the case, I'll make it up to you. I used all my strength to push him away and slowly leaned toward the door. I wanted to run, but found the door was locked. You're crazy. The Zhao family and the Liu family will come looking for us. Don't be afraid. In the past half year, I've already bought a house here. Let's live under assumed names for the rest of our lives. Okay, or I can take you somewhere else. 11. He really had gone mad. I just realized this house is exactly the same as when we were newlyweds. Shuru, don't be nervous. I really like you. Look, I even got these pants ready. Let me help you put them on. Okay, I'm speechless. He glanced behind him. The red candles were burning high. He quickly grabbed one and tossed it onto the bed. Flames flared up. He turned in an instant and rushed to smother the fire. I finally took the chance to grab the key on the table and opened the door. Once I was out of the room, I picked up the lock and locked it without hesitation. I was just about to run when I saw Liu Yunshu at the doorway. How did you find this place? She was also dressed in red. Standing outside the courtyard, there was little expression on her face. For the past 6 months, I've been tracking his whereabouts, so of course I know. Shana Yu, the grudges from our past life are already over. Today, I have to marry him. You should leave now. I wiped the soot off my face and was just about to slip past her. Unexpectedly, she suddenly rolled up her sleeve, and a dagger shot toward me. I knew she wouldn't let me go. I dodged extremely fast, but the knife still grazed my arm. Liu Yunshu wasn't willing to give up. She was taller and sturdier than me and tackled me straight to the ground. Watching the blade inch closer, I used every ounce of strength I had. I thought I was going to die again. Snowflakes were still drifting down from the sky. I seemed to see that small courtyard from my previous life again, that pear tree. Thinking of the pain from that past life, strength surged through me once more. I suddenly seized her wrist and flipped myself on top. I wrested the knife from her and plunged it hard into her chest. Deep crimson spread gradually across her chest. Finally, falling onto the snow, Liu Yunshu stared wide-eyed, looking at me in disbelief. Inside the room, the flames were still burning. I heard young Master Ju's voice. He actually kicked the door open. "Shuru, you can't get away, you have to be with me." Sparks seemed to crackle from him as he lunged forward again, but the man at the door grabbed him and flung him aside. It was Ju Jinyu, in his 40s. He looked at me nervously but didn't dare come closer. "Xiao, are you? I'm sorry, I should have killed them long ago. Are you alright?" I wiped the sweat from my face and got ready to leave. Young Master Ju put out the flames on his body, yet rushed over again. "Shuru, please, don't go. In our last life I was wrong. Give me a chance to make it right, okay?" The older Ju Jinyu grabbed him again. "You didn't listen to me. I told you to kill Liu Yunshu and to treat Xiao Ayu well. Make sure you respect her. Not only did you not kill Liu Yunshu, you even forced Xiao Ayu into marriage, young master." Ju still stared at me. "She's on my mind every day, so of course I want to marry her." "You're too old to marry her." "But I can. I did nothing wrong. No matter what it takes, I'll treat her well." "Phut." Ju Jinyu unceremoniously stabbed several times in a row. "Bastard. Can't you see she doesn't want to?" His face flushed red as he burst out shouting at him in agitation. "Xiao Yu doesn't want to. Have you really looked at her? Do you know what she truly wants to do? She doesn't want to. She hates us. She hates. Can't you see that? You're not worthy to marry her. Neither am I." Young Master Ju just collapsed onto the ground. Ju Jinyu turned to look at me, his face marked by wind and frost, and smeared with blood. He seemed to grow cautious again, and with trembling hands, dropped the dagger he was holding. "Sorry, Shuru, I must really have gone mad." I couldn't help but silently take a step back. "Xiao Ayu, don't be afraid, I'm sorry, it's me who isn't worthy." Seeing that I was about to run again, he suddenly walked over quickly and pulled me into his arms. I couldn't break free and could only let him do as he wished. "Xiao Ayu, I've thought about you for 20 years. Finally, I've got you in my arms." Looking over his shoulder, I saw young Master Ju lying in the snow. His eyes were red as he looked this way. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out in the end. Gradually, the sound faded away. Ju Jinyu's body also began to turn transparent until it vanished completely. I stand in the snow and take a deep breath. Slightly cool, tinged with blood, just like that year when I died 12. The pear tree that died in the courtyard has blossomed again. The authorities investigated the case for several months and finally concluded it. A letter from young Master Ju before his death completely cleared my name. In the letter, he said he was going to kill Liu Yunshu and kill himself. When I saw the handwriting, it seemed more robust. It should be something Ju Jinyu, in his 40s, had written in advance. No one in all of Bianjing dares to marry me anymore. I registered for a Southern Academy together with the Qin siblings. Strangely, this time they actually allowed women to enroll. I don't know why either, until the dean asked to meet with me alone. He handed me a prescription. "What is this? Wasn't it sent by you?" "There are still plenty of medicinal herbs you sent last year. A few months ago, an epidemic swept through the town. You saved this place." "It wasn't written by me. I only just realized in my previous life. This was exactly when the epidemic was raging in the south. That prescription was obviously written by Ju Jinyu. Whether or not you wrote this prescription, it's definitely related to you. You've done a service for the towns around us." The person who sent the prescription said that if the epidemic is completely eradicated, they ask that we look after you more and open a women's academy. I looked at the yellowed prescription. I laughed. The next day, Qin came to see me. He brought me a set of bright lotus pink clothes. "I've realized you look good in any color. I designed this myself. Want to try it on?" Sister Qin burst into laughter. "Oh my silly little brother is so clumsy. Yet he actually signed up for the same class for your sake. He even did some needlework. His fingers are all pricked to pieces." I looked over with a smile and only then noticed that Sister Qin's hands were a mess too. Laughing at me, Are you? Where are the boots you embroidered for Xiao? Are you? Take them out and let me see. They're not even as good as mine. Sister Chin looked a little embarrassed. I can draw design drafts, but I can't make things by hand. However, I can teach you martial arts. Forget your 3 punches and 2 kicks. Xiaoru should still learn from me. I put away the clothes and told them to stop arguing. Xiaoru, there's something I need to confess. What? That time, when you had just joined the guild, we met someone. Who? Someone who looks just like Ju Jinyu. A bit older, with a scar on his face. Oh, I looked over curiously. Him. He brought a chest of gold, said there's a timid girl who spent days preparing her drawings to enter the guild. He asked us to treat you well and not scare you. I turned my head to look at the various flowers on the hilltop and nodded. What does him mean? Is that person into you? But no matter what, he's way too old, right? I smiled and looked at them. He just came to pay back a debt. Then, is it paid off? It doesn't matter. I stopped caring long ago. Spring is a wonderful season. I can have a finer fragrance of flowers, so why keep looking back and thinking about it? End of the article.